point right away what we're talking about.
Yeah, right. Good morning, Profitable Stylists. Excuse the background noise. I got some construction going on. We are talking about free, basically spending your first year free in the industry, working for free, doing for free, being free. Well, don't sell yourself for free, but everything else outside of that is what we're talking about today.
That's not what you texted me earlier in the week. I thought we were talking about something different today.
We didn't get to that. We're going to do that next week.
Well, this is the.
But yeah, why is working? So that's what we're talking about. Is what took you out. So I took you out for free. Yeah. Why is working for free the natural progression for your first year? When you get into behind the chair.
Yeah,
and that's really what we got to discover, because we've been getting asked this question a lot. I'm new to the industry. I've been listening to you guys. I've been taking your guys' advices. How do I fast track it? How do I get to your guys' level? How do I improve? And there's a lot of things to break down today, but we got to start off with the basics, and the idea is everybody wants to get out of school and immediately start making money is not the reality all the time.
Yeah. So I just naturally, it's funny, I can hear that saw. Eddie is getting stones on the front of his house because his bricks are falling apart. And he was saying, I hope they don't start sawing while the video's going. Well, they are. And that's what you guys hear, that wah. I don't think it's too loud. But I naturally did free to build my business. I don't know why. I just can't. It made sense to me in so many ways. And then as I go back and think about it, it makes even more sense. But my first thoughts were, I don't have any money to do it the other way. What are the options? Sit around and do nothing? Well, that's not my style. So I remember, I'm going to say some old stuff. The time when I got started, there was no social media. The best we had to get the word out there was, okay, I was newly married, and it was one of the suggestions, which could still work today, was take the list of all the people you invited to your wedding and send them a letter saying you do hair. And I thought, okay, well, that's people. I don't even want to see some of these people, but I need to make money. I'm newly married. I got a kid on the way. I need to make some money. So the first thing I did was I sent out, that was cheap. It was a stamp on an envelope, and a card. Now, I hand wrote personally to each one of them. So that was the whole deal, was like, where are the list of people you know? And so it was like the little book or whatever, you kept all your phone numbers in. You wrote down your friends' names and phone numbers. Maybe your mom had some friends and phone numbers. You asked anybody you knew to give you that list of names, addresses, phone numbers. Some people had a Rolodex, actual paper Rolodex, and you use those. And then it was like, okay, I'm done. And I'm still not slammed busy. How do I get some customers here? So you start trying to figure out, where are the people? And then the next step was, I could pay to advertise on the few things you had then: TV, radio, newspaper. That was it, right? You could mail postcards maybe. But if I paid money, this was the first thought I thought was, I don't know how I can do this for less than a few $100. Pay money to put my face or words written in front of people's faces. And then what do they do with it? Maybe nothing. So I thought, or I could spend that money that I'm going to pay to, which still works today. That money I'm going to pay to boost a post on Facebook, that money I'm going to pay to market myself. If I put that money literally on someone's head, how I can spend money. I've already got some of these products. I already spent the money with the hopes that somebody is going to walk in and want me to do something to them. So I already have this bleach sitting there. I have this color sitting there. I have this pair of scissors ready to go. Please walk in, And so I thought, if I see somebody and I say, I would like to do your hair sucks, I can fix it. Didn't work so well, but that was the thought process. You look ugly. Let me make you pretty. Come on in. Let me give it a try. Let me show you what I got. And so that was where the real challenge was. What words does it take me talking to somebody to get them to sit in my chair? Please let me show you what I have. No charge. I just want you to look good, so you'll pay to come back, because I'm just looking at the future, and your friends will see it. So that's kind of the thought process for me at first. Then fast forward a long ways later, I realized.
Well, hold on a
Yeah,
second.
go
Hold
ahead.
on. Before you fast forward there, because you're on to great thoughts, right? I obviously I had the similar thoughts that you did. My issue more was how do I start telling people? How do I get in front of people? You know, because that was my first thing in the beginning was nobody knows who I am. I'm new to the area. I was not working in the area that I grew up in.
Right.
So I was completely new to the area. I was new to the salon. I was new to everything. So those challenges, I think, weighs on people more than anything else. When you're fresh out of school, you can't help but try to be brutally honest. And you're like, oh, I just you know, because when somebody sits in your chair, that was the first thing. How long you been doing hair for? Oh, I just graduated. And yeah, you could just see the soul leave the client sitting in the chair, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, God. And now I'm thinking in my head, oh, okay, never say that again, ever. And then the next client sits down. How long you been doing hair? Oh, I just started. Oh, wrong answer again. Like, that was a huge hurdle for me to get over. Did you ever have to run into that?
Yeah. Yes, I did. And I used the whole year of school and, you know, just reframe. Of course, I answered it wrong a lot of times first, just like you did. But I started to realize that how long have you been doing hair? A long time. Feels like a long time to me.
School was grueling. That 9 months to 2 years felt like a decade, man.
Yeah, you just don't say, a whole year in school. They didn't ask how long have you been out of school? How long have you been doing hair since you got out of school? That was never the question, you know. You're right. It was more like, how long have you been doing this? A little over a year. And I mean, that's enough in the beginning. It's not great, but it's way better than I just got out of school, just started yesterday, 2 weeks.
So nowadays, whenever because I still get asked that question, right? Because we get new clients.
Oh, right. Now it's fun to say.
Now it's so much fun because I'm like,
this is my first day.
I've been here. No, I go like that. I'm like, I've been here since 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, they start early here.
You know, and they're like, no, that's not what I mean. It's like, how long you been doing hair for? I'm like, what? You're like, this week, this month? Like what? You know, like I keep throwing it back to like, what are you asking? Because that's not a real question. It's somebody trying to find something to talk about.
Right. That's true. That's true.
It's like, oh, today's a nice day to go fishing. Huh? It's like, oh, nice weather we're having.
The weather.
It's like,
you're right. That's a good I'm not an analogy. That's a good I don't know, exercise for hairdressers who are getting asked this question right out of school. The clients don't really want to know how long you've been doing hair. They really just want to talk. They want to have a conversation, and they want to know if you have confidence in what you're doing. That's kind of what's going on. And I think that is a great topic to talk about for a minute, because nothing clients ask you, or I shouldn't say nothing, but 99% of what people in general ask you is not the question they really want the answer to.
The first question is never the real question. You gotta dig deep.
Right. Right. And so if you care, or if you're a salesman, or you want to know more, you can literally, in sales training, they tell you to repeat the question. Now you can add a few words to it or whatever, but when somebody says, how much are your haircuts? Is a haircut what you're looking for? Almost never is it just a haircut, or if it's a haircut at all, actually. So in that case, when they say, how long have you been doing hair? You can just kind of laugh it off, and because that's what we do now, confidently, jokingly. Years later, I'll actually for fun say, I just started this week, and they're like, no, you did. They can tell. This is my first day. No, it's not, old man.
Well, it's like the number one thing that drives the owner of my salon mental. Anytime I do a color consult, I'm like, all right, I got it. I understand what you're asking for. I'm going to go back, look at a YouTube video, figure out how to formulate this. I'll be right back. And I start walking. I don't even wait for a reaction or nothing. And Sabrina always is like, will you stop it? He's not.
He's not going to watch a YouTube
Because
video.
you should see the look on some of these people's faces. Like sometimes they believe it, and I just think it's the funniest thing.
Right. Because you've got the confidence to back it up later. But the funny thing is when you don't have the experience or the confidence and you say something like, you would never say something like that, especially if you're actually going to do it. So
but
maybe
charisma always wins over fake.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So what was I going to do? Fast forward way into the future. And I had the opportunity to build a business again after many years of doing hair, quit for a while, getting back into it, lost all my clientele, and I'm starting again. So then I realized, you know what? Free is not the beginning of a journey. When you're in school, it's worse than free. You're paying to be there. That's the part that gets me. I've got an interview after this right at 11, so I can't even run late. And it's what happens in all my interviews. We're talking, and it's like, well, they want to know how they're going to make money working here. Is it commission? Is it hourly? Is it salary? Is there a lot of walk-ins? Am I going to have to work for free? Sometimes free to build your business comes up, and it's always amazing to me that with the conversation, there's quite a few more that are open to it, but the few that are not really always blow me away. They're like, I ain't working for free, or I'm not doing anything for free. Well, you're doing nothing. What about the part where you're doing nothing? Anyway, you're doing nothing. You're already doing nothing for free. Why don't you do something for free? Because that's a step in the right direction, because you just came out of school where you were doing a lot for what do you even call that? You were paying to be there to do hair, but I was learning. Now you learned a little bit in the first day or two or week or two, and then you're practicing. Then you're paying back to the school. The school's what's going on? So, you got loud noise.
They just started sawing. I'm muting my mic for a second.
So you pay to be at the school. Eddie, you got to stop the faces. We don't know that sound's going on. We're good. We're good over here. Just put an earplug in or something. So you're paying to be at the school, and it's costing you money to do people's hair who are paying the school. They're paying the school. And so most of the time when you're in school, you're working for the school to make their money back so that they can actually have a front desk counter, marketing, advertising, pay the rent, pay the building. They're making money off of you, which is fine, but you are paying to be there. So if you go to free, it's a step in the right direction. You can't go from paying to be somewhere to getting paid immediately. When you go to work for somebody and they're paying you hourly, that's an investment. And the reason why hourly, there's all a balance everywhere, right? So I was going to go into the different ways of getting paid. And I don't want to dive too deep into them, but the ones where you get paid to be there immediately, there's this flip-flop situation. You get paid immediately because they're hoping soon you're going to be worth it, and then they're going to make money off of you. So you get this, I don't know, $300 a week in the beginning. You're making more than you're worth. They get some clients in your chair. Now it's even. They're making up for the money they gave you. Then over the next couple of months, they're hoping that you stay at that hourly rate, and you work so freaking hard, they get paid back for their investment in the beginning. And that's about the time you're getting mad saying, I'm working too hard for this money. But the first few months, you didn't work much at all for the money. So if you go to I don't know, maybe more of a private or higher end or mom and pop shop where you would make more money, you might make less money in the first couple of months because they're not going to pay you for doing nothing. It's going to be straight commission. You're going to assist, and you'll get paid for the assisting, and you'll build up to where you're worth your money and you get a little bit. Then you're really worth it and you really make money. So to me, that's the better choice. But I know some people have bills that they got to pay as soon as they get out of school, or they made some choices that put them in positions where they need money right away. They moved out of mom and dad's house sooner than they should have, or just went through a bad relationship and they need money right away. And I get it. So you're going to have to unmute, I think, to talk. Go ahead.
It just got really loud just as I'm like trying to find the moment to do it.
Not loud. It's not loud on this end.
Not right now. I just feel terrible for anybody listening. The thing what gets me though is they'll get out and they'll be like, I'm gonna go work at one of these hourly places just to gain some experience, and I need some money to pay my bills right away right now. And then when I get good, then I'll go into a larger salon or a better salon, or I'll scale up or move up or whatever it is. But then you don't realize you're actually losing years. More than money is time, and time is a huge investment in paying. Well, what's the word? Profitability. Okay, the time that you spend making bad habits just for the the sake of getting paid by the hourly because you desperately need that money now, you would be better off working a night shift at a bar somewhere and being in a good salon during the day, make the same little money, but you're starting to get the good habits from the beginning and you're saving time. You are not wasting time. And I think a lot of people forget about the time investment. They just focus on the monetary investment.
It's good that you said that, because I've got a stylist working with us now that kind of did that. I don't know what her path was in the beginning, but she's come here under a situation like that, where most of those situations, the people that go to those salons that you can make money quickly hourly, it's usually men who don't care as much about their hair, quick chop, men and children, right? Ladies who have longer, thicker color, highlights, trendier styles, they're not going to the quick cut places where it's a little bit more of a cutting mill. So those situations, I've got a stylist with me now. Very good, very talented, very fast at men's and children's haircuts, even ladies with shorter hair. But when it comes to a woman, she's not as, and she's been doing hair for quite a while, she's not as comfortable with the color and highlight and hair extensions and the things that make big money. So she came here hoping to learn those things, but it's difficult because she's now got herself a little later in life, got children, got bills, and she's trying, like you said, she's lost that time in the beginning where she could have learned it when she had more time to learn those kind of things. But she took the money-making road first, possibly, or made some bad choices. And so now she's trying to balance the two. She's trying to work with me and do those men and kids cuts while she's hoping to learn from us the other things. And it's a little harder to learn it now because she's kind of trying to make money at the same time. And it will come, and she's trying to make the right decision, but she's suffering financially for it.
Do you think, in addition to all of what we've just said, now that you've spent your time on the front end, working the hourly, doing the lower end things, you built up a certain level of confidence in that, right? And now when you're trying to move up or level up or whatever they call it, it's like now it's a foreign, it's uncomfortable, it's different, and that scares the bejesus out of people. And then it makes you start questioning if you made the right decision or not. And even if it is the best decision for you ever, potentially you have a future moving forward. Sometimes I feel like people handicap themselves from being able to move forward, or they snare themselves.
That's true.
From being able to move forward because it's foreign, it's scary.
Well, that's true, but it's going to be foreign or scary at either time, back then or now. But when you're saying that, what I think of is it's foreign, and it's so weird because you have a weird sense of confidence later on. Like this particular person that I'm talking about, I made a couple of recommendations and she was like, I'm not doing that. And and only a strong, very strong opinionated leader like myself can say, that's the reason you came here. And so I realized, like, you're not going to just go into any salon later on in life and learn those things, like you said, because you get this, I'm almost saying false sense of confidence, but it's a true confidence in some things, the men's haircuts and kids cuts. So you got enough confidence in what you. So now you've got this false confidence in, you think that you cannot learn these new things because, hey, I've been doing this 6 years and this is what I'm good at. I'm not good at those other things. And so you almost tell yourself those things are not possible if I'm really good at this. So I don't even know how to break that down. You're making me think of it a little differently, because in the beginning, you know nothing about nothing or anything.
But this is what I mean, right? So now you don't have no habits, good or bad. Right. You don't have any ethic, good or bad. You don't have any preconceived fears or notions or successes or confidences or nothing, good or bad. So that is that building block. That's that initial thing. And it's so vital. It is so vital, because it is so much harder. It takes 3 times the amount of time to undo. Like if you spent 1 month doing something, it would take you 3 months to undo that and learn something new and start doing something new again. Because you'd spent the first month undoing what you've been doing, the next month relearning the new way of doing something, and then the next month after that doing it gooder, better, goodly.
Oh, gooder. I think gooder is the word.
Gooder.
So, where we have both experienced this is teaching hair extensions. I found it very fascinating in the first few years of teaching extensions that most students in school caught on faster than stylists that have been doing hair 10, 20, 30 years. I always, in the beginning, I chalked it up as just an anomaly because I didn't do that. I didn't teach that many students. Not as many were interested in extensions. But as more and more got interested, I started to notice, sure, some of them weren't good. So that kind of skewed my thought pattern in the beginning. But at some point, I started realizing most students catch on faster than most stylists. And it's the same thing. Stylists already have these ideas of they know how to do hair. So when you're showing them something, they totally don't listen to you. And I think it's a part of being in the learning mode too. I think a student is in the learning mode for everything. And once you get, because right now, if somebody said, I'm going to teach you how to do updos, I'd say, no, thank you. Not interested at all. I already know how to do so many things. And that's part of my counseling for growing. When people say, should you do everything or should you focus? I used to say one and then I said the other. And now I'm more like, you know what? When you're brand new, you should try everything because you don't even know what you're going to be good at. But at some point, you have to learn to steer it towards a narrow focus of where you're really good, really fast, proficient, efficient, can make a lot of money. And you don't need to do everything in the hair world. Because in the beginning, I would do a manicure, a pedicure. I mean, I think facials were included. There was I hated doing pedicures, but if one or two walked in and the owner of the salon I was at says, we got a pedicure, you're going to do it? I'd be like, oh, good. I don't want to do a pedicure, but I need the money. I'll give it a try, And so then at some point, I'm like, nope, no more pedicures, no more manicures. It wasn't worth my time when I've got these other services I'm making so much money on. I tried updos quite a few times. I just never could get it. Never was quite good at it. I even thought I wanted to a couple of times. And then Martin Parsons really motivated me like 15, 20 years in. I even bought all his DVDs at the time. And then I watched them and I was like, he makes it look so easy. I gave it a try and it wasn't. And I finally made a decision. Never again. I'm done. I can't do updos. Probably could, but I'm not interested. Don't want to. There's so many things you can do in our industry. You don't have to do them all. But in the beginning, you don't know what you may want to do or may be good at or may be worth your time. John says, never be comfortable.
That's true. You should never be comfortable because comfort breeds complacency. And once you get into that groove and you think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm in my zone. I'm just cruising along, and they're trying to just be whatever they're trying to be. Eventually you'll hear that same person say, I'm in a rut. Everything's boring. I'm burnt out. And it's like, well, you just got complacent. That comfort turned into complacency. And now you're just, nothing inspires you anymore, and you haven't grown. You've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over. It becomes monotonous. And
so what was this talk supposed to be about today?
So why free really is the natural course, because before I get into the free thing, one last question, because all of this beginning stuff really is important to make people understand why this is what it is. Not you personally. I know this about you, not you personally, but do you think training somebody who's been in the industry for a while, there's a certain level of pride that blocks them from being taught something from somebody else?
It depends on the person and depends on what kind of pride you're talking about. Because I want people to have pride in their work.
Well, people do have pride in their work, but it becomes
not everybody.
Some people. Well, it's like the reason why I love teaching people who are inexperienced versus somebody when somebody says to me, oh, I've been doing hair for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever, inside, I do die a little bit. Inside, I do go, oh, I hope you're not a prideful,
Oh,
annoying,
I see what you're saying. Right.
hard-headed.
Yep.
Like, just stay open. Please just be open-minded to learning something. I do get that little thing inside of me sometimes.
I've had the same experience when I was teaching hair replacement classes. They would invite somebody who was a known influencer, like, oh, so-and-so's got a huge Instagram channel. They're going to come take your hair replacement class. I hope they'll be respectful. I'm like, yeah, me too, because they already feel like they're somebody. And what am I going to teach them? And it goes both ways. But talking about free, you know what? I think everybody is willing to do free for different reasons. And this is an interesting thing to think of. If you say we're going to do a raise money for, most people
charity.
Have what?
Charity. You're talking about charity.
Charity, yes. Most people have some sort of compassion for some special group, when I was first a hairdresser, AIDS was a big thing. That was the thing. They did walkathons, cut-a-thons. But then it just went into so many areas as they had, I guess, prescriptions and drugs to help out there. I guess that's probably what helped get the drugs to help people be able to live longer through that problem. But then now recently, you've got so many children's issues. You've got breast cancer awareness. People will do pink hair for hope. So there's so many things where people are willing to work for free to help in some category, but they won't do it to help themselves. You should be your number one charity. If you need to do free to build your personal business, and you know what made me think about that was I just did some free work the other day. I have never been above free, and I've never stopped doing free. My suggestion to people out there doing hair is that you should always, it doesn't have to be all the time. Let's take it like this. When I built a business, I did everybody for free till they started paying, and I had 3 goals in mind. If I'm going to do free, I'm hoping to get 3 things out of this. I want you to reschedule your next appointment before you leave, because I'm hoping you come back and pay when you do schedule in the future. I'm hoping you buy the right products to recreate what I just did, shampoo, conditioner, styling products. And I'm hoping you tip me, gratuity, whatever word you want to use. So then I repeat it back to them. I say, but listen, there's no strings attached here. There's no fine print. I'm doing everything free today. You don't have to reschedule. You don't have to buy shampoo and conditioner, styling products, and you don't have to tip me. Those are just my goals. So I know people don't hear negatives. They don't hear the no's, or you don't have to. So I say it 2 times. I say all 3 2 times so they hear it clearly in case they're studying. Oh, I got to tip him. I got to buy products, and I got to make my next appointment is what I'm hoping. But then you get to the point where you're pretty booked solid in the future, but something you learn eventually, something called attrition. You know what that big word means, Eddie?
And that really is the problem. And this is the problem with being confident in one thing and just doing one thing and never learning anything new.
Tell them what attrition is.
It's
people that don't know.
It's the attrition.
Attrition.
Attrition is the slow loss of business over time. In this example of how we're talking about it.
No, in every business or everything, attrition is because we're in a failing world. Everything is declining, decreasing over time. And in our businesses, if we do nothing to get new ones, people die. If nothing else, people move, they get different jobs, they lose their job. There's so many things that happen where you just lose one client. You don't hardly feel it when you have 200 or 300. But if you're not doing something to continue to get more clients, you eventually die to it. You should be raising your prices anyway, and that's going to run a few off. So if you're going to run a few off, or if you're going to leave you for some reason, what are you doing to fill that up over time? It doesn't have to be much. Once you're booked solid, you just have to have a little something. Hopefully, your clients love your work and they're sending people, but maybe you need to ask them to. Maybe you need to give back somehow. So I've always just done one person a month for free was my goal. I would just try to bring one in. It kept me humble. It kept me giving. It kept me in the right mindset or attitude. If I just met somebody out one day, I'd say, you know what? Come on in. I'll do your hair for nothing the first time. Let me show you what I got. Don't need to. I'm making tons of money, but I'm not even doing hair anymore. And I did that with 3 other hairdressers. It was that tape-in client we did. I'm talking on the phone and, I say free. I worked for free. They made money. But this customer was going to go somewhere else. She was trying to find somebody to take her tape-ins out and put them back in. And I hate tape-ins, So I told her, what were you going to pay to get that done? And she told me the prices and was like, I don't know, between getting her hair color fixed and her tape in, she was going to pay like a little over $400. And it wasn't worth $200 to take those tape ins and out and put them back in. She had like 3 packs. It was a lot of hair. It took 3 of them plus me helping about 4 hours to do. It was a lot of work. And between 4 people working that amount of time, I made nothing. So for me, it was education. I was helping teach the hairdressers. One of those stylists was really new, so she made nothing. She was learning. And then the other 2 got to split the money. So a little over $200 each for redoing extension, tape ins, and the color. So the client got a great deal. She was appreciative. She understood that I came in on my day off and I spent hours helping for nothing. I mean, sure, that the future of those hairdressers, getting them some education, but I didn't take
the investment, right? Right.
Yeah.
But the monetary in that moment is what you're talking
and so I think free is always an investment. I think that was a great word to bring up just now. It's an investment in your future. Somehow, somewhere. I still do it in different ways. Sometimes I'm doing a consultation and they can't pay for all the things that we want to do. So free comes in a lot of different weird color sizes, packages that you don't think of. You can be doing free when you're getting paid. And so that's the part where people can't really discern how to add on for free possibility. They're coming in for a haircut and you say, you look at that gray. Ooh, wait, let's color those grays. And they're like, oh, I can't afford that. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do it for free this time. So they're already paying for the haircut. You looked on your book, you've got time. Do this, wax their eyebrows, wax this. I mean, trim their beard if they've got it. Do the add-ons and talk to them about what all of that would normally cost. They might be like, wow, this was way better than me doing it myself. I didn't even know I had hair in my ears to be waxed or hair in my nose to be waxed. They pulled all the hair out of my nose. They pulled all the hair out of my ears. They colored my hair. All of that happened in an hour. I'm going to have to add all this next time. So now your $20, $30, $40 haircut just went up to $100 or $150, and they're willing to pay for it because you did some things for free. And now they pay for it.
This is some of the things when we first started. I had great mentors. I had absolutely great, phenomenal mentors. We used to have to fight to see who was going to, whose mentor we were going to be, like who was going to be our mentor. We had to fight amongst each other because he would only take on 2 people at a time. And then one of the other mentors that I had, she would only take 1 person at a time. So we would all be fighting to see who can do it. And that fighting meant we would go get her dry cleaning. We'd go get her coffee. We'd go get her lunch. Like we would just basically schmooze her socks off just to try to get her to pay attention to us, right? But then when I was in the salon, one of the things I started doing was I was doing hair color at the time, but like you said, I had gaps in my book. Anytime I had a gap, the older hairdressers, and when I say older, I mean age-wise, the like older John hairdressers. I would
he just commented, does your doctor give you free services? He'd be one of those that'd be one of those interviews I'm doing and I talk about free and they're like, I ain't doing nothing for free.
He's very John is very, he's got something with doctors. He's got a big hang up. He's always talking about doctors.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. I was getting mad reading that. Does your doctor give you free services? Well, no,
John's our good buddy. We know who he is. That's why we're picking up.
They make $500,000 loans for marketing and budgeting and take 10 years to pay it back. And so I'm trying to avoid that side of it. But they should.
It's all fine.
And maybe malpractice doesn't let him. I know you like John, so you're taking up for him, but I'm coming after you, John. because he's not here to defend himself.
Because he's not here to right. I know. I think he's like twice if we put both of us together, he'd still be twice our size.
Oh my God, that's not nice. He knows it. I know.
No, he knows that's a
Yeah,
fact.
he can beat us both up,
butts.
is what you're saying. So finish your
But
point.
what I'm
sorry,
saying is
I
this.
cut you off.
I would say, like, who's the older hairdresser, and I would go do their shampoos on their behalf. And it was my way of getting free advertising. I would introduce myself to their clientele, and eventually I knew.
Steal them.
No, it wasn't even about stealing. It was about inheriting.
That's what people are thinking. No, I love where you're going with this. I love it. But that's the mindset that people can't get over. I know where you're going with this, and I'd like to add something to it. If you shampoo for that top stylist or the older stylist, first of all, they're pretty booked solid. They can't take many new people anyway. And what does that client of theirs have? Friends, family, husband, kids.
Mm-hmm.
All those people are going somewhere, and they might not be going to the stylist that you're shampooing them for. Right? Isn't that where you're going with that?
That's exactly the overflow.
The overflow. You don't have to steal the client. Try not to steal the client.
No, you don't want to steal the client in this. You just want to introduce yourself. And eventually, if you're not fully booked by the time that stylist retires,
oh yeah,
you can inherit.
You're going for the retirement plan too.
I'm double dipping. If I'm going that's free, I want twice my return for free.
Smart. Yeah. So that's a great idea. Yeah, that's why you went for the oldest.
That's why I choose to do it for I'm not shampooing for younger than me. No.
Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, that's a long game there.
It's a long game, but it has paid in dividends.
Yeah, and it will, because you're right. We are going to all be, I mean, if you're doing this right, you're going to be doing this a long time. I would have never, if you asked me in that first year doing hair, I wasn't even sure about I was in the right career, you know? I mean, so many hairdressers, we've done this one before too, become something else. You know, they quit, don't make it, become nurses become hairdressers. If you asked me, would you be in the hair business 34, 35 years later? Because I'm 55. I was in my early 20s getting started. I would have said I have no idea. But if you said I had to say yes or no, I probably would have guessed no, because I was trying all the get rich quick scams at the time too. I was doing all the network marketing things, and I thought I was going to get rich some other way and then not have to do hair anymore because it wasn't my love or passion. I was doing it to get by, and I liked people, and we were having a fun. I have fun doing anything I do, but I had no passion for hair. It was just something I kind of stumbled upon. I was making a few dollars. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's in the air conditioning. I was framing houses, doing stuff on the front, like the guys doing the bricks on the front of your house. Yeah. I was on some construction crews, and I was like, this sun and heat down in the southern humidity. And I got in my truck yesterday, and it said 111 degrees, you know. I mean, it was 96, 98. It ended up getting up to 99 outside. But in the truck with the windows up, it got up to 111. I'm like, whoa, I was meeting guys that were, you know, in my 20s. I say, how old are you, Mr. Benny? And he's like, 42 years old. And I was like, my dad looks younger and is much older. So when you're out in that sun, it's rough. It's rough on you. So I realized right then, I got to do something inside. And I am no desk jockey. I can't sit behind a desk all day. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So hair was a thing that I could do with my hands. It felt like a creative thing. I didn't have to be super smart. And I'm not saying hairdressers are dumb, but I wasn't a smart one getting started. So I can do this inside, and I'm going to love it. Now, how do I build a business? You know, right. like John puts on there about the oh God, you got to read those comments and see if we need to answer any of them. But John puts on a thing about the doctor. Well, let me mention something about the doctor compared to what we do. Most doctors don't go start their own practice. They go work for a partnership, or they come in under other people, and they're guaranteed money right away. So as much as I love and need doctors like everybody else does, doctors are not business owners. Hairdressers are business owners. The hairdresser world is a little different because it can be either or. And that's what you have to choose. And that's why I said in the one about the nurses thing, why so many become nurses, because they make the wrong decision in the beginning, or they don't realize to be a good, profitable hairstylist, you need to be more of the business owner minded hairstylist, because you got to realize you should be building your own clientele, setting your own prices, upselling, and then raising your prices later. But you can also go into the hair world where you don't do it as a business owner mentality, and you go in with the hourly or employee mentality, where I'll just get a job at Fantastic Sam's. They're going to guarantee.
Yeah, but even the problem with that, Bernard, if you're not getting repeat business, you're going to get fired or let go because you have quotas.
True. That's a good point. That's a good point. So you still have to have
way, you may not be, writing the bills, but you still have to maintain a clientele. You still have to build a clientele.
And somebody said that their doctor gives them free stuff.
Yeah, I'm not. Here, this is what I got for you. I don't know. Doctors, I don't know. Yeah, fetish with the doctors. I don't know what's going on over there. What I do know is this. This is another thing for free that I still do to this day. Flirt. And I ain't talking about sexual nothing. Okay? Because if it's a guy, if it's a girl, if it's old, if they're our age, I flirt with everybody. And I overly flirt with older people because they have grandkids, they have kids themselves.
So I know what you're saying. I just think it's probably not the right word to use anymore in this culture of what words you can and can't use.
I don't know what the right word is.
I know what you're talking about. And I think I probably did it too much also. And I don't know that it's the right word to use, because flirt would mean, I think it would mean with the intention of possibly dating or having a more serious.
Yeah, and that's not what
and
this
I know
is.
You don't mean that, right? But I know what you're saying. It's more like you would just be hanging out with friends and having fun. I think that is more what you're saying is have fun with the clients. I remember one lady, the mom would come in, she'd bring her kids, and they loved coming because it was so much fun. But you know what I did? It was twins, a boy and a girl. And while I'm cutting the boy's hair, the girl got a little too close. I sprayed her. I turned the nozzle on the water bottle and spray her from a distance. And she's looking like, what's going on? And her mom gave her a water bottle from another, these water bottles that you pull a trigger and they just keep on misting. Those are no fun in the salon. You can't squirt somebody 6-10 feet away. So I like the old fashioned water bottle. And I was kind of known for soaking quite a few clients, and they came for the water fights. It was fun. And so I would squirt one of the other kids, and then they're squirting me. And after they paid, I'm chasing them to their car, squirting them right in through the window until they close the door. And the mom's cracking up laughing, and we're just having fun, but I got paid. So why can't you have fun? I'm not saying that works for everybody, and it didn't work all the time. And I'm not chasing an old lady in a walker doing that, because it's just unfair, But I did challenge an old lady in a walker the other day to race me to the door, and she took off. She was shuffling real slow, and I said, "You want to race to the door?" And she started going, and her daughter goes, "Mama, stop! You're gonna fall and break another hip. We just got out the hospital." And she and myself, we are cracking up laughing, because I was like, wow, she might have beat me. She took off. She cheated. She did not wait for me to say go. She just took off. And so, I mean, when you say flirt, I don't think you mean flirt. I think you mean have fun with.
But that relationship, having fun and having that relationship is so amazing, Yeah. People will remember that. It really does. And it costs nothing. That's the whole thing of it. It costs absolutely nothing.
Right.
But that memory, that relationship, that experience, it's worth its weight in gold. And people, you get the reputation in the area known for that kind of stuff, and it just automatically will draw people in. And that's what's awesome about it.
RJ says relationship building is not flirting. I don't know about that. I think flirting does build some relationships, just not the kind of relationships that you're really
the one in this context. You know what? Give me a comment. Somebody help me out. What is the word? I don't have a vocabulary, as y'all know.
Yeah. What's a good word for that? Right. Yeah.
We need thesaurus.com,
But having fun. I tell you what, you've got to know your clients and know what you can get away with and what you can't. And I got to know some of my clients so well. I mean, I know some of you guys are totally going to think this is so wrong and rude, but it was a A lot of fun when it happened. And these clients came back for years after. But there was a time or two where at the shampoo bowl, somebody, I don't know, maybe walked over with a spray bottle because they knew that I loved Water Wars. And I just lifted the hose up and soaked them from head to toe. And, you know, there was a lot of towels and mopping that had to happen after that. And it was usually me that had to do it, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. Because I was the winner. I was the winner. There was no way somebody was going to wet me with a water bottle as much as I got somebody with the hose from the shampoo bowl, because you've got distance, you've got a lot of water, and it's not like a sink. You can't aim a sink very well. And then for any of you guys in the color room want a practical joke to play on the other people, if you have a sink with the old-fashioned little fruit sprayer over there, you put a rubber band around the fruit sprayer handle, aiming at the person that when they go to turn the water on, it automatically sprays them. That is the best. That's my favorite. The fruit sprayer, they turn that water on. They don't know why they're getting wet so fast. Hopefully you have coworkers that can take a joke. Building relationship.
Oh man.
Necessary.
The way that would translate to an independent stylist, if you share a room with another stylist and you're in this little studio, sometimes they have those hybrid shampoo bowls where they're a sink and a shampoo bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you have to press the button or you have to pull the lever up to turn on the hose versus the faucet.
Mm-hmm.
I always leave the hose on. I never turn it back off to switch it to faucet. So that would be the equivalency in a
I've never used one of those. I just remember. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap this up. But
yeah, that's what we got. We're just goofing off now at this point.
I used to work at JCPenney's, and I'll just never forget a lady just walked in. My first year of hair, a lady walked in with her kid, and she just walks right past everybody, and it's like it's her salon. And I mean, I was young. It was my first year doing hair, and she says, "Where are the sinks?" And she just walks through with it, holding her kid's hands like he had candy on his hands or something. And I'm thinking, you don't just walk into a salon and just use their bowls. And she gets past me, and there's a little half wall, so I can't see the shampoo bowls, but I remember there's 3 on each side. And she goes, "Hi." She's probably turned in a knob, but you got to pull it up and turn it to hot or cold. And she goes, "How do you turn these on?" I just hear her from the back of the salon, and I'm like, "Just pull up." I didn't tell her you might want to hold on to the hose also. And so it was dirty, but I was already like, well, it sounds like you know everything already. You walk in here like you own the place. You just missed that one little detail. And I mean, that's like 30 something years ago. And I still laugh about it today. Just pull up. And then I hear, woo! She must have got a hold of that hose. We never talked about it. I don't know how wet she got or who she got wet, but I know that hose went a little bit. And then she probably turned it off real quick, grabbed the hose, turned it back on, washed her kid's hands, and left. But who knows if she knew that was malicious intent.
Hey, but that was a free lesson.
Yeah. It was. So guys, when you're doing free, how do you know what to do for free? My free concept was, what's the thing that costs me the least that people are going to pay the most for later? So for me, it was highlights. I thought, you know what? Powdered bleach is a little less expensive than color, way more time consuming. So I'm giving away more time than the cost of physical product. In my head, I thought, you know what? I can slap color on roots, do gray roots pretty fast and easy, and it's less expensive, but the product cost is higher. Whereas the bleach might be about the same product cost, but that extra hour or two, possibly, especially in the beginning, of time and weave and foils, it was that expertise that took a lot of my time, and I had a lot more time than I had money in product, would get me a higher price later. So I tried to put those 1.5, 2.5 hour services on people in the form of highlights instead of anything else at the time, because it was the lowest cost, highest value, highest potential to make money later. So I just developed what I called a free foil highlight program, and then put it out there and like, come to me and I'll highlight your hair for free. I'm taking 5 a week, 1 a day. Book it now. If I'm booked up for 2 weeks, get it in 2 weeks and a day. That'll be your appointment. So then you got this sense of urgency, fear of loss. Only 1 a day I'll do for free. Book it now, and I'll do your hair. I'll do your shampoo, cut, blow dry, style, foil highlight, all for free the very first time. If you've never been to me before, come see what I've got. With social media now, you can advertise that for free. You just put it on social media and tell people, and they'll spread the word for you. So you can, for free, advertise that you're working for free. You won't work free for long. I did it for 6 weeks, and then I was booked solid with paying clients.
Let us know what you think. Mic drop.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. What is your guys' version of free? Give us a comment, share it along, and thank you guys for watching so much. We'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Look at you. Bye.